Once again, you are in a Ferrari going 150 miles per hour. Then, these are the soccer player almost die. And for Cristiano Ronaldo, just 3 days after buying his dream car, an accident changed his life forever. On January 8, 2009, it was an unusual morning for Ronaldo, as his coach was calling for an early practice after Manchester had just suffered a heartbreaking loss. So Ronaldo's teammates, they were counting on him to be there. But he was nowhere to be found. See, Ronaldo, he overslept and eventually he did wake up and see all the notifications. So he jumped out of bed immediately. Now we all know Ronaldo takes his game seriously. So not showing up to practice, that was unacceptable. But I mean, he did only have 20 minutes to get all the cars out of the city. He was not gonna disappoint, and there was one car in his garage that could get that job done. But he had no idea getting that car would be the biggest mistake of his life. Damn man, Ronaldo was just starting to make a name for himself, and he was crawling out of Ferrari that was completely totaled. So the fact he could walk away with a single scratch on his body, it was a miracle. And from that point on, he made his life machine, dedicated everything to the sport, and became the greatest soccer player to ever take a field. But ironically for Lionel Messi, him try to do that cost his life. Back in 2017, Messi was about playing in one of his biggest games of his career. Barcelona was going up against Juventus in heavily anticipated Champions League match. And Juventus had already won the first leg 3-0, so Messi knew if he didn't come in and have the game of his career, he was going home. So as soon as Messi ran on the field, he was ready for everything, or at least that was his thought. But the first half, both teams displayed made a push. I mean, their legacy were at stake, and whoever won was heading to the semi-final. So they battled it out, blood, sweat, and the tears. Neither were able to score a single point. Then, as the half was coming to a close, Messi made one last high-effort play, but that nearly cost him everything. See, Messi almost lost more than just a game out there. Doctor realized if he had landed just 2 mm higher, that neck injury would have killed him. So despite Barcelona losing the game, Messi was very lucky man. See, most disaster happens after field. Like for Matias Silva, this man nearly lost his life on vacation. Yeah. Back in 2017, it was about to be 4th of July. So Silva and his teammates, they were amped. I mean, they were trying to turn up. They figured, why not drive to Lake Tahoe and enjoy off beach a little bit. But because it was the 4th, they already know the beach would be crowded, and they had a game later that day. So they planned to pull up extra early, around 6 a.m. or so. Little did they know, things were about to get crazy. Yeah. See, then next morning, the boys all hopped in the same car, turned on some bangers. You already know how it goes. They went on their little road trip. But as soon as they pulled to the beach, Silva, he just lost control. He saw the sand, the water, and he couldn't help himself. I mean, he felt like a little kid again, and without thinking, ran straight for the lake and dove in. Low-key, it was kind of beautiful. I mean, the way the sun was just bouncing off the water, this dude was kind of looking Michael Phelps out there. So the boys watched him swim all the way out to the buoys. But that's then it happened. Out of nowhere, Silva, he just started screaming for the help, and the boys, they just thought he's trolling until he went under. Then their hearts dropped. They raced to the lake. They jumped in after him. By the time they got Silva, it was too late. He wasn't breathing and he had no pulse. They had to swim to shore and sinking fast. Luckily, lifeguard came running to the rescue. He tried to give him CPR, but it wasn't working. So they had no choice.
911, what's your emergency?
Two days later, Silva woke up, but he was dazed, confused, and turned out he was in a coma. See, when he jumped in that lake, he was so excited. He didn't realize the water was freezing. So, as soon as he got in, his body went to shock and it caused his heart to stop. He was just lucky the boys were there, because they literally saved his life. And after it was found out that Silva would recover, his teammate Chris Wondolowski paid respect to him in the next game, wearing number 38 and even scored a goal that night for him. Almost drowning, that's something lives you forever. But almost not even making your first birthday for Neymar, that was his reality. And what happened in 1992 scarred him for life, literally. See, at the time, Neymar was only 4 months old, and him, his dad, his mom were driving to visit some relative. But that's when things turned deadly. See, leaving Brazil, the family was driving up the mountains, but out of nowhere, a ridiculous storm hit. And it wasn't just a typical rain that come and goes. It was a storm so bad, they couldn't even see what's right in front of them. Then came the lights. The family was in an accident, and everybody was hurt. And despite the storm, Neymar's dad remembered everything as it happened. He said, "A car came towards me. I tried to swerve, but it has fallen on my door side. My left leg landed on top of the other, dislocating my hip, and I was desperate. I said to my wife, I'm dying, but my worst fear was the next thought in my head. Where was Junior?" See, the car was hit so hard that literally Neymar was disappeared, and the family had no idea where he was. His dad looked everywhere, inside of the car, on the street, out of the car, in the bushes, just nothing. They couldn't find him. They didn't know what to do until they heard cry. It was Neymar, and he was trapped. His dad looked under the driver's seat, and there he was, covered in blood. Neymar's head was cut from the piece of glass, so the family had no choice. They have immediately rushed to hospital. Neymar came with face to face with this. He wasn't enough old to understand words or to even know what was going on. When Neymar's dad found out that he gotta be okay, all he honestly could do was thank God. And from that point on, he knew Neymar was blessed.